friends, welcome back. Okay, I almost knocked this water over. So I feel like I've been kind of on the trend of like talking about the things I'm closing down and like shutting everything down and all the things. And I think there's a reason for it. It's because it's spring cleaning time, and I am actually going through and spring cleaning everything in my business. I'm streamlining, simplifying, going through and removing a lot of things, and I've been doing that for a little while. Today, I want to tell you about what exactly I'm streamlining, what exactly am I cleaning up, what am I spring cleaning in my business, so that you can potentially get some ideas of what you need to simplify in your own business to have it run a lot better, a lot more streamlined, a lot more easy, and just feeling much better. So welcome aboard. Now, if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, because I don't know, it makes me feel good. Thank you so much for being here. I will be making another video about this soon, but there's some changes that will be coming up in this YouTube channel as well in terms of what content I'll be creating. And that's actually one of the first things that I'm cleaning up, is really streamlining and focusing on just one YouTube channel. So I do have another YouTube channel that I've kind of started growing over the last maybe like year, sort of. I felt excited about it, and then I realized that it was a distraction and it wasn't actually a good idea. So I'll be making a separate video about that and why I decided to not have two YouTube channels anymore, even though organizationally it makes better sense, but energetically, it's just putting one foot in, one foot out, and that's not the energy I want, and that's not the energy I'm moving into spring with my business and my life. So I will be focusing on just this YouTube channel moving forward, and this is why some of the content is gonna change, but that's gonna come in a different video. I'm gonna do a whole announcement, so things you can look forward to. But let's talk about all the things that I'm cleaning up and changing, or have already changed, outside of focusing on just this YouTube channel. So number 2 and 3 are actually sort of connected, and they have to do with my community. So I am very consistent with emailing my email list subscribers. I currently have almost 8,000 email subscribers on my email list, and my open rates are like, okay, they're about average. And what I've actually identified is, I've talked about this a lot on my YouTube channel, by the way, with Instagram followers, and I've already done this. I've removed fake Instagram followers. I really focus on quality versus quantity. And I realized I hadn't done the same with my email list in quite a while. So there's 2 things that I needed to do. So the first thing I needed to do is remove anyone that hasn't opened my emails in a while. So I use ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign allows you to have an automation where people get tagged based on whether they're interacting with your emails, opening, clicking, all of that stuff. The original time frame is very short. I believe it's like, if they don't do anything, if they don't interact with your emails within like 2 months or 3 months, they get tagged as inactive. And something I did is I had it where if they weren't interacting, I would automatically unsubscribe them. So I like that, except I was feeling so much FOMO, and I actually made that sequence that a person could not interact with my emails for like 18 months before they were kicked off my email list. And that's just way too long, because it keeps my email list bigger, but like, what's the point of a bigger email list if not everyone's opening? And I'm not saying that everyone's going to be opening, that's unrealistic, but I also want to make sure that I'm not emailing people that never see those emails, and they're actually harming my deliverability rate. So the first thing I went and did is I changed up this adapted automation and made it so that people, if they haven't engaged in, I believe it's 6 months or 7 months, then they would get kicked off. So I shaved off about a year off of the automation, so my system would just make much more quicker decisions and really focus on having people that wanted to be there to actually stay. Now, the other thing I did within ActiveCampaign is I wanted to clean up all of my email list automations. So there's a lot of nurture sequences I had, there's a lot of freebies I had, there's a lot of everything that I have, and I needed to do basically spring cleaning. So I removed a lot of my email lists, and I just consolidated everything into one master email list, newsletter list. So I simplified that. I had like probably 24 email lists for like different products and everything like that. Consolidated everything. I removed a lot of automations or made them inactive that were no longer really relevant for the brand that I have now. I turned off a lot of my previous freebies, and I'm really just focusing on one main freebie, which is my free masterclass on how to book your first or next 10 clients without feeling guilty for charging what you deserve. For coaches and online service providers, which, by the way, if you haven't signed up for that and watched that masterclass, it is chock full of amazing information to help you actually get out there and like get seen as an expert in your field and start booking clients. So the link for that is in the description. Go ahead and check that out. And you'll also be in my email list. Yay! So I needed to go through all of that to just make things simpler. Like I've tried so many things over the years and I never like would turn them off. They would just always be actively running. And some of them would kind of work and some of them wouldn't work. And it was just creating a lot of confusion. 2022 is the year of simplicity, of just like making things make sense and making them way easier to manage. And it always starts for me with my email list, because I've already done my Instagram stuff that's new, which by the way, I did make a video about creating a new Instagram, which I did in like November. So go ahead and check that video out right there. All right, so the next thing is about my offers. And I've done pretty well with this actually over the last few years, where I really only focused on just one main offer, and that has sold really well. And something I needed to do, which I talked about this in the previous video, I decided to close down my biggest coaching program, and that is going into effect in April, or May actually, because it no longer felt aligned. So anyway, I'm not gonna talk about that too much because I have a whole different video about why I decided to close down this coaching program. It has made me almost $300,000 in sales, which is amazing, but I really wanted to feel more aligned with my offers and simplify my offers. I have my Serve to Sell program, which is amazing, and it's at a lower price point, which is my entry-level group program. So it's an easier way for people to come and get in, get amazing clients, signed up of their own, like get results, and then they can ascend into my other offers, which is private coaching for a few people. And then I'm also gonna be creating some other things potentially that just feel more aligned, to just feel better. But ultimately, having a solid baseline of just Serve to Sell and private coaching, that's what's happening. And then anytime I feel more called to do something else, I get to do that if I feel the desire to do that. But ultimately, it's just streamlining everything, simplifying my offers so that it actually helps me feel better on a day-to-day basis and makes it easier for me to show up online in general as well. Now, the other one is having to do with programs as well, but how I actually run programs so that I can feel like I have plenty of time left over, plenty of energy left over to show up and create great content and just do all the things I want to do in terms of Instagram and YouTube and everything like that. So basically, being able to have like less calls that I do in my program. So this is one of the reasons why I'm getting rid of Aligned Profits Academy and focusing on my lower level group programs, creating like short-term programs, but really prioritizing my free time, prioritizing my creative time so I can use that time to create the best content possible, and not feeling really too tied down to having consistent calls in a program that isn't feeling aligned anymore. So just being a lot more intentional with how I'm refining my program structures, what feels good in the time, and really creating from that place of alignment and vision and excitement as well. So it's kind of like a side point, if you will. So another one that maybe won't feel like it's totally business related immediately, but it is, I really think it is early this year, I went through a rebranding process where I identified my visual brand and I had a new website revealed. I did that on the YouTube channel as well. And I really wanted to step more into being the brand, really being the visual representation of what I wanted. And I actually realized that my clothes were not really representing that. So a part of my spring cleaning has to do with my clothes, because I work from home. I don't usually dress really nicely out at home because it's like, I'm lazy. I just want to hang out. I don't really want to do anything. But it is affecting how I show up. It is affecting my energy. And that's obviously not helping when it comes to creating content and like being a powerful freaking entrepreneur, CEO, right? So I'm actually going to be hiring a personal stylist, which is so great because I hate shopping. I really despise going clothes shopping. I think it's the worst torture ever. I'm not patient enough for it. I can't do it. And also, I feel like I know when things look good on me, but I just can't go through the I just can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm gonna hire someone to help me with this and identify my style and all of that. So I was going through, and also, by the way, I lost quite a bit of weight in the last few years. So a lot of the clothes I had when I first moved to San Diego, I was at like my highest weight ever. Now I'm at my lowest weight since college, which is yay! So exciting. I feel very proud of myself. And also, a lot of my clothes don't fit. They are too big on me now. And I want to feel good. I want to feel good in my skin. I want to feel good in the clothes I'm wearing. And I also want them to represent my brand. So this is my closet, which by the way, because I don't really like care for clothes that much, I don't have a lot of clothes in general. And this is like a disaster in here, but I don't have a lot of clothes in here in general. Like there's not that much. And this is my boyfriend's, so that's not even mine. There's not a lot going on. So I actually went through the process already of taking down everything that either doesn't make me happy to wear, doesn't look good on me, doesn't really fit me anymore, because I was like holding on to it for some reason, because like some of the pieces I have weren't necessarily cheap. Some of them were cheap and they were like, I should have thrown them out a long time ago. But there are some clothes that are just like, they're old, or you know, because I don't like shopping, I'm just gonna hold on to clothes just to have them. Now I definitely feel the need to buy new clothes. But anyway, I wanna show you, I have multiple bags. And by multiple, I clearly mean 2. So I have one bag filled with clothes that I'm going to donate, okay? Massive bag. And a lot of these clothes are so nice, and some of them I didn't even really wear that much, and it's very sad. And I have another massive bag of clothes. All the things. Some of them do fit me, and I just don't like them. I just don't like the texture change, the fabric is like no longer quite working for me, or I just don't like how I look in them. I don't feel like how I want to feel as a 2022 version of me that's like, you know, doing amazing and just like aligned the whole time. And my clothes and the way I look, I think does make a difference. So I think this is huge. Have you done like a clothes spring cleaning? Do you like shopping? I'm just curious, because I feel like everyone I talk to, everyone loves shopping. Am I like a weird one out? Just please tell me. Please tell me. If you don't like shopping either, just tell me. If you do, that's okay. I still want to know. Maybe you have some tips for me around like finding better clothes or like making the shopping experience better, because I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. I don't even know. So the other important thing is really having to do with my mental state. And I really think that a huge thing that we do is we hold so many ideas in our heads that we're actually never gonna actually do, or at least not soon. But yeah, we keep holding a lot of these to-dos on our to-do list, and we have them all at a similar priority level. And then when we're not getting them done, we feel really down on ourselves. We feel guilty for not accomplishing these things that we say we need to do, when it just doesn't even make sense. Like we don't have the time, or it just doesn't feel right now, or we don't, whatever the reason is. I'm sure you have a lot of things on your to-do list that you're probably not gonna get done this year. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. It's okay to not get everything done on your to-do list, and really prioritize or reprioritize the things that you truly do wanna get done this year. So for me, I needed to get okay with the fact that I'm probably not gonna write my second book this year. I wanna do it at some point. Based on the other more important goals that I have happening this year, I would rather just take it off my to-do list so I can expand my plate for the things that actually matter and will actually move my business forward. I also wanted to be okay with not having to go through all the courses I've purchased. I know I've spent so much money on digital products and courses on a lot of different areas, and I wanted to do them all at the same time because I love education, I love bettering myself, I love growing my business, and I love contributing to the economy of the coaching and education space. And some of those things I bought, I'm never gonna use. I'm just gonna say it. There were things I bought, many things I bought, that I'm probably never going to use. And I am saying that it's okay to not take advantage of everything you've purchased. If, for example, you bought a course that felt right at the moment, it's been a year, it's been 6 months, it no longer feels good, it's okay to not do it. It's okay to just give yourself a break. It's okay to just give yourself permission to move on with your life and say, I'm not gonna get to it this year. It is not important enough for me to do it this year. And that's okay. You can move forward and you can focus on the things that actually matter. Whether it's joining a new program you actually commit to doing, maybe it has to be a higher price point so you actually commit to doing it, or just letting go of these things that you think you're gonna do, maybe it's hobby related, and just say, okay, next year, I'm gonna come back to it next year. I can release it from my head, from my mind for now, so that I can feel a lot more calm, so I can have more mental space, more mental capacity for the things that actually matter and will grow my business, move my life forward. It's okay to do that. Okay. The next thing we have to talk about is all the subscriptions you're paying money for. You know, things that are obvious, like not business related, like Hulu, Netflix, Spotify, like do you actually use all of them? Do you really need to keep paying for all of them? So taking some time to look at like the life related subscriptions that aren't really necessary. So I've already done that. I feel like I only use the things that I actually want. And it's so easy to get roped into a subscription and then forget that you have it. I will say that Amazon is one of those places because you can pay just a little bit less if you get on a subscription, subscribe and save, and then the box arrives. And then you're like, oh, that's right. Why is this here? Go on your Amazon, look at your subscribe and save, and cancel anything that's no longer necessary, or maybe at least change the frequency with which you receive some of those packages, especially if you're not actually using them. Like if you're using it, keep it. But if some of them are like, oh, I didn't even realize I had that on there, which happens for me all the time, change that up. Now, business related wise, there are some subscriptions that I needed to spring clean. Now, I usually sign up for annual plans for any software. So there are some subscriptions that aren't actually gonna be done or renewing until later in this year. But this is the time that I'm actually going through and thinking about how do I want my business to be structured. And a big part of that also is streamlining the things I'm paying for on a yearly basis. And one of those things will be my course hosting platforms. So I've been using Podia for majority of my digital products. And then for my bigger programs like Surf to Sell and private coaching and the Academy, I use Kajabi because of the customization aspect of it. I'm going to keep Kajabi because I still like to customize it, and I provide a lot of templates and pages and all that stuff for my Surf to Sell clients so that they can create their own stuff. So I do need Kajabi, but I don't really need Podia, especially since I'm not focusing on selling a lot of digital products anymore. And that's like an $800 a year subscription that I don't really need anymore because I have Thrivecart, and Thrivecart Learn is actually really robust. I know I made a video about it and I was kind of like just checking things out, first look. I'm actually gonna be moving over to Thrivecart from Podia, for Thrivecart Learn anyways, and moving all my digital products specifically over there, including some potential future offers and programs that are smaller, just to like save some money because it's not a required expense. Some of the other things that I'm also gonna be cutting down on is I'm not gonna be using Crowdcast anymore. I don't do a lot of live videos like this that much. I just use Zoom at this point. So I'm gonna keep Zoom. I'm gonna get rid of Crowdcast, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'm getting rid of ManyChat. I'm getting rid of my text messaging platforms that I've been using and paying for, even though I barely use them. So basically like anything that I'm paying for that I'm barely using, finding out, is there a better solution? Is there something cheaper? Is there something that I can just take out of my plan because it's not really making that big of a difference anyways. One of the things I'm considering moving away from as well is Typeform, which is what I use for my questionnaires and forms and things like that. And I found another option that was a one-time payment that looks pretty similar. So I'm gonna be experimenting with that a little bit. Not too sure yet, but we'll see. And obviously any like memberships I belong to that are kind of like lower ticket memberships for like $197 a month or $27 a month, $17 a month that I'm not really using. And again, I typically sign up for an annual fee just to save money, but there are a few memberships that I got what I needed and I don't really need them anymore. So I wanna make sure I put in a request to not renew after the year is ending. But also if it's a month-to-month subscription, anything that I'm not using or haven't used in the last few months, just canceling it, because clearly if I haven't used it in the last few months, I'm probably not going to use it in the next few months either. So why spend the money on something that's just there as an option versus a requirement? And the last spring cleaning thing I needed to do is removing any other distractions that are influencing me too much, influencing my content, influencing how I show up in a way that isn't actually allowing me to be my fullest authentic expression of myself. So that means removing anyone I'm following on social media that isn't supportive to how I want to show up. So anyone that I feel in competition with, anyone that I feel like is kind of triggering me potentially, anyone that is just not making me feel how I want to feel. And that actually is most competitors. I don't keep up with what most competitors are doing. I couldn't care less. I just focus on myself and people I'm paying and anyone that uplifts me and helps me feel more of myself. So that's who I really want to focus on seeing content from and forgetting everyone else. I don't care what anyone else is doing. And with this said, also unsubscribing from anyone that's not relevant. I've been doing this for years now, but I have very few email subscriptions that I receive. I don't have an issue with inbox zero. I'm very good with my inbox, and it's because I don't subscribe to everything and then just like I don't know, receive emails. Then my head gets like so filled with ideas for random things that don't even make sense for me personally. And I don't want to be feeling like I'm getting pulled in a lot of directions because this person's doing this and this other person's doing that. Maybe I should do that too. I just want to listen to myself and the people I'm paying for to guide me. That's all I want, to keep my life so much more distraction free and really releasing this tendency that we all have on being influenced by external factors and getting permission from external factors to do something, to grow a business a certain way, to sell a certain type of offer, to do whatever, and really prioritizing yourself, your audience, and the people you're paying. And that's majority of what I want to do in my life and my business, and really focusing on that. So hopefully this video is helpful. Now, if you want to see why I decided to close down my biggest coaching program ever in my career, go ahead and click here and watch that video next.